Hello and welcome to the third MolyFit Live, Move Yourself to Health. Here in sunny St Albans at AJ Studios, I'm Molly, and the idea of these sessions is just to help sort of reverse the effects of lockdown. So I'll just introduce you to the team. We've got the lovely Gemma in the corner there. Hi. She'll be looking at your comments and relaying them to me. And then we haven't said hello yet, but this is Arif, and he's our cameraman. Hi Arif. And today we'll be working on knee pain. Let's just have a quick look and see who's joining us today. So we've got hello Emma, we've got Lynn, we've got Yvonne, Nikki, if I missed anyone else. So I have to come out and in to all these separate things. Marilyn, so I'll leave that alone. So hello to everyone and thank you for joining us. Right, today, knee pain. Now, knee pain doesn't necessarily have to mean arthritis. The knees are very complicated joints and there can be a lot to go wrong in it. And what we're going to talk today are the most common overlooked problems that can cause knee pain. And the first one, believe it or not, is your calf muscle. Now, calf muscles are whacking great big powerful muscles, and they have to be to support and carry your body weight. And unlike any other muscle in the body, if you rest it, it eases off. The calf muscle, if you rest it, it tightens up. And this is a problem I've seen a lot when I've been back at work a week, visiting all my clients, and I've seen a lot that the calf muscles have tightened up due to inactivity and too much stretching. Now, when we walk heel to toe. If I'm just, sorry about the smell, Gemma. So when you walk, you strike the ground with your foot, roll through and push off with the toe. So you do this. This is the action. Now, what you want generally from the ankle is about a bend of about 15 degrees. So if I sit like so, we can do a little test. If you take your foot, so that's 90 degrees, and it should bend a further 15 degrees. And that's what happens when you walk. Now, if that's not happening, it's generally because your calf muscles are too tight. And what happens there, because you haven't got the bend in the ankle, the pressure has to go to the next joint, which in this case is the knee. So because you can't have that extra 15-degree bend in the ankle, it goes up into the knee and it puts unnecessary pressure on the knee. And when we're walking, we're dealing with body weight, so you've got all your body weight going into the knee. So we're going to look at the calf muscle first. So what we're going to do, we're just going to have a little feel. So what frustrates me most about my job is that people, not just generally, everyone in this, we don't know what's going in our body. There can be all sorts of stuff in there and we don't know. And then I come along, massage, I can feel it all and it's obvious to me. So we're going to have a little look in our calves. Now, I'm just going to say, if you have varicose veins, then be careful with this one. You don't want to actively push into a varicose vein. So we're just going to, with the leg at 90 degrees, just lean forward with 2 fingers or a thumb, just feel around in the calf. And you'll know when there's a big knot or tension in there because you'll feel it, it will hurt. So I found one there. And the trouble is with these big knots, they tighten the big powerful muscles together and that's what limits the movement and that's what causes the tension. Now, many of us have got, weak hands or arthritis in our hands. So if you struggle pushing in, I want you to do this for a couple of minutes. You might struggle because of arthritis or some sort of weakness in the hands. And this is where one of these becomes a good idea. Now you can buy these from any good online shops and it's basically like a rolling pin. And what you do, if you treat your calf into 3 separate areas, so you've got the inside, the middle and the outside, and just gently roll up and down the length of the calf. You don't want to put too much pressure in, you just put in light pressure to ease it off, because don't forget, it's really easy to overdo it and then cause more damage. So you just roll sort of 10 times up and down on the inside, 10 times up and down in the middle. So I can feel a big knot there that needs coming out. And then 10 times up and down on the outside. And these things, you can get them for in between £5 and £10. They're not very expensive, but they're really, really beneficial. And we will be using those in a minute, a bit later on our thigh. So the other thing you can do is just a simple calf stretch. So you need a wall or something that's going to support your body weight. You want to put your hands on the wall, arm distance apart. So I don't want you leaning into the wall. So arm distance apart, put one foot back. So this is the active foot, the foot we put back. This is the one we're going to stretch. You glue the back heel to the floor, and with the front leg, lean forward into the front leg, keeping the heel down to the floor, and you should feel a big stretch here in your calf. And like any stretch, hold that for 20 seconds. So we're going to hold for another 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's swap sides. So we're going to glue the heel of the back leg into the floor, and we're going to lean forwards with our front leg and stretch that muscle off. And let's hold it there for another 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So that's how you stretch the calf. And I'd say do a calf stretch every time you've been for a walk, or had more than 5 minutes of movement going through the legs. And do an experiment. See if just stretching the calf, nothing else, see if just stretching the calf eases off any pain or discomfort you have in the knee. Right, the next thing we're going to look at is the way your body behaves. And I'm always saying, listen to your body and be observant. Look what's happening with the body, because you might not necessarily spot something obvious. And what we're going to do now, the best thing to do this is either looking down or look at yourself doing this in a mirror. And we're going to take our shoes off for this, because you get a much better idea of what's going on bare feet. So, feet hip distance apart. Remember the Molly checklist. Soft knees, activate your core, neutral spine and open chest. And what we're going to do, keeping your feet hip distance apart, we're just going to march on the spot like so, right? Now, if everything's fine, the leg and the thigh will just come up in a straight line with the knee like so. What we're looking out for is pronation and overpronation. Now, I won't go into all the complications and the science, but basically what happens, because of something going on in the arches of your feet, your foot turns in, and then that does that to the knee, like so. And if you think every time you take a footstep with your body weight going in, like so, all your body weight is going, rather than being evenly distributed all the way down the thigh, straight down the leg, it's going right into here in the knee. And this is a really common cause of knee pain. Now, you can go and see someone get orthotics put in your shoe, which corrects that, which is great, but if you haven't got that sort of money all the time, then just practice marching on the spot and be observant. Do it in front of a mirror. Look what's going on with your body. March on the spot and make sure those knees are going up and down smoothly and they're not turning in. I mean, you might have dug feet walking like that. In that case, you're putting the pressure on the outside of the knee and into the hip. Your feet might be turning in. There's loads that can be going on. We're making sure that everything is smooth and straight and square and true. So just try practicing that in the mirror, and then when you can do that, try applying it on a walk. Don't go out for a 10-minute walk, because you might cause a lot of pain if you're trying to auto-correct the body. So just do it like a 1-minute walk, 1 or 2 minute, just nice, gentle walk, and see if you can do it, and see if that helps your knee pain. So the last thing I want to talk about is my favourite as a sports therapist, and that's muscular imbalance. And we've all got a lot of muscular imbalance at the moment because of lockdown. So there's 4 main muscles in the quads. You've got one there, one there, one there, and one there. Now, we want all those muscles to be about the same strength and tone. And what happens is, one of them gets stronger than the other one. It causes a little war in the legs. and then it puts pressure in the knee. So your kneecap, your patella, if you wiggle it, it should wobble, okay? It's a free floating bit of cartilage and it should wobble. Now, if it's not wobbling, very serious, you've got no wiggleitis, okay, and that's just down to tension going on around the knee. So straighten your leg and just see if you can wiggle it first of all, which is great. Now, it only wants to be a little bit of wiggle. If it's moving around a lot, then you've got another problem, and that's just because you may be a bit hypermobile and there's a bit too much give, and if there's too much give, that creates more complications. So that's the first thing you check out. And then you have a little look with your thumb, just push around the top of the knee and see if you can feel anything that's painful. Sore, don't worry about sore, but if it's actually painful, then you've probably got a big knot or a whacking great big of muscular tension in there that you can just gently, and I emphasize the word gently, just work out with your thumb. And it'd be like playing with bubble wrap. You sort of just press down and you can hear crunching and popping. So you don't do it any more than 30 seconds because you don't want to overdo it. And just see if that loosens it off, and that helps your knee pain. And now let's look at the thigh itself. And again, if you push into muscle, muscle is a soft tissue. So relaxed muscle should be soft and pliable and squeezy, like putty. It's only when you contract or you're using a muscle it hardens up. So if you're just gently pressing into your thigh, it wants to feel soft and squidgy. And you may find, like here on me, that's hard, that's a lot harder. And if I push in hard, it's sore. And if I push in harder, it crunches. So what we want to try and do is that tight muscle that's crunching and feels sore, we want to try and loosen that off. And that creates the balance and puts the balance back in the thigh. And then going back to the knee, if all the muscles are nice and even, when you walk, the patella slides up and down, and it would slide up as it should do, rather than say if the outside quad's too tight, as you walk, that extra tension will pull the patella over slightly to that side, and that's what causes the pain. So we want two things in the thigh. We want all the muscles nice and loose with even balance, and we want a nice wobbly patella or kneecap. Now again, okay, these are big, strong, powerful muscles. So if pushing in is aggravating your thumb, hurting your fingers, and you can go back to this. And again, we're going to split the quad into three parts. We've got the outside, the middle, and the inside. So it's definitely worth getting one of these, and you just roll from the groin down to the top of the knee. Never ever roll on bone. A general rule is bone doesn't like to be touched. If you push on bone, it will just hurt. So stop just before the knee. So you just roll down the thigh, and you might feel bumps and lumps. You might feel this jumping over, and that gives you a clue that there's an adhesive fibre or some knots in there. So just gently roll over that area until it doesn't crunch and bump as much. So you sort of do 10 down the middle, 10 down the side. We've got a nasty culprit here called the IT band. And what happens here, without a massive science lesson, if it's a thin strip of muscle, and if it tightens up, it can either give you pain in the knee or pain in the hip. So it's always good to roll that one off, and then 10 times up and down there, and then 10 times on the inner thigh. So it's definitely worth investing in one of these. They give you good results. Now let's have a look at just a simple exercise to do to rebalance the muscles. Now we can do this lying on the floor, lying on the bed, or you can even do it sitting down. But if you do it sitting down, make sure you're protecting your lower back, so your core's on and you're not slamming your body weight, like we all do, into our lower backs. So you sit up straight like so, and then place the leg out. Now, I'll do it this way round. First thing you want to do is what we call dorsiflex the foot, and by doing that, it locks the calf and it straightens the leg. Now have a look. Now I can see, much to my horror, because I loosened this off before the session just to make sure it flowed well, but I can see my kneecaps pointing over there. Now, I'll talk about this in my books, but you want to imagine an imaginary line running down the center of your thigh called the midline. And it should run straight down the center of the thigh, straight down the center of the knee, straight down the center of the lower leg, and straight down the center of the foot. And everything should line up. So when I run my imaginary line, my kneecap should be there, but it's not, it's over there. All right, and that's just down. There it is, that's down. I've been doing a lot of cycling lately, and that muscle's just tightened up a bit. And again, I stretch, I roll, I know what I'm doing on the bike. And you know, it still happens. So don't beat yourself up too much. And you can loosen that off, and then eventually the kneecap will pop back. So that's better. So anyway, so let's dorsiflex, point the toe towards you. Now tense your thigh. Put your hands on your thigh muscles and feel them tightening. So tense those thigh muscles. And hold that. Let's hold it for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. Now this is such a simple but oh so effective way of creating balance in your thigh muscles. Just by doing that exercise, it's called a static quad, you make sure you work all the muscles evenly, and it's a great way of putting in strength. So we're going to do it again. Let's do it one more time. So dorsiflex the toe, line everything up. Now tense your thigh muscles, contract those thigh muscles, and let's hold. Hold for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And again, I'm doing it on the chair because that's easier, but you can also do it on the bed and you can do it on the floor. If you do it on the bed or the floor, make sure the leg you're not using stays bent, okay? And that will help protect the back, because if you lie down with both legs straight, it naturally arches and puts too much pressure in the lower back. So if you found that easy, and what's he talking about, that's not really beneficial, there's always a way to make it harder. So what we're going to do now is we're going to lift the leg, so then we're putting body weight into it. It's always good to do body weight exercises to help improve our strength. So let's start from the beginning. Dorsiflex, straighten the leg, tense the thigh, and just very gently, just lift the leg. Hold it there. Now, is your leg staying still, or is it hesitating? Is it wobbling around? Hesitation is a great way of spotting imbalance. So if your leg's staying straight and it's completely still, then that probably means that the muscles in your thigh are absolutely fine and you've got great even tone. If you do it and the muscles are wobbling and you can see your foot twitching and the leg's moving around and you're finding it difficult to hold the foot in one place, that's just down to muscular imbalance. And all you need to do is just practice to correct that. Practice. So dorsiflex, tense the thigh, lift and hold, and just hold it there for 10. But remember, when you do this, keep your core on, keep your spine neutral so it doesn't go into your back, and just hold it there for 10 and slowly down. And you can do that in your chair. There's no excuse. Just do 3 or 4 of those exercises every day, and that will help increase the imbalance and strength in your thigh. And if your thighs are nice and strong, then there's less body weight and pressure going into the knee joint itself. So give those 3 little tips a try and see if that helps relieve your knee pain. Now next week, we're going to cut the waffle down a bit and we're going to do more of a class. So what we're going to do, we're going to do a little exercise class going over the exercises we've done in the last 3 weeks. I look forward to seeing you then. Until then, stay well and stay MolyFit.